Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie. Nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami, a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy. I musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces. Witamy wszystkich na publicznych warsztatach w języku polskim Fundacji Keshe. Są to 241 warsztaty i tematem dzisiejszego spotkania jest druga część 265 warsztatu poszukiwaczy wiedzy. Jest to tłumaczenie z języka angielskiego na język polski. I to jest czas od godziny 40 minut do 3 godzin 15 minut. Po obejrzeniu i wysłuchaniu zapraszam wszystkich do zabierania głosu i zapraszam do obejrzenia.
So, the teaching of today is in many ways in English language is soul searching for the man to find his soul, and now come to trust. Can I leave this soul in the hand of my own trust and nobody else. If you go and you have seen most probably how some mothers give birth to the children in a pool or in a bath, and you see when a child is born, immediately takes up to the new life in the water, or some they do at home, or some we do in the hospital. Then we'll see we go through the same process. As you see on the screen, it says Keshe Foundation Plasma Technology resolves the African swine fever problem in China. As our American friends say, watch this space next week. You might learn a lot more. And then, in that process, we will show a mass conversion, not individual conversion. And this is important for us to learn the next step, to gain confidence. If the pig could do it, man calls himself, in Farsi we say, Ashraf Makhluqat, means the head of creation, whatever God has created. And if a pig can do it, it must be easy for the man to do, unless a man is a pig man. You came here to see the new magic system today, but you find out the system is you. You came to see what gadget comes for you to defraud your nation from the electricity bill and blah 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 whatever, or find peace for your physicality. Now if you understand and you can develop this, would you send a man with a cancer into space and let him walk the plank, as I said, and that position he has everything balanced, he come back without cancer? So the space trip of the Keshe Foundation into space will be a very lucrative job. But with a cancer in the space, everything goes according to leaving the soul and finding the balance, bring the physicality back, no cancer. And then how many trips would you take? To live 1,000 years? 10,000 years? Or do you get fed up going to come back and convert and then become man of the space? This is what is reality today. The pig still exists. If you want, I can bring here new pictures and videos. I think we received one about a week ago. He hasn't forgotten his voice, it still goes and the rest of it. But I have a pig. Would your soul be happy to come back in the dimension of physicality? And do we need to make schools? Do we need to make classes? How to find your soul and then how to fly your soul? One of these preliminary works was done with one of the beautiful men of Keshe Foundation. And when I looked at it and I spoke about it in a very passing way, what Alex has done in Nigeria, the swimming pool. Would we need to extend the field of these swimming pools in Nigeria, that when we go In it, we see this detachment of the soul of the man from its physicality. It's possible. It depends how much Alex put things in that wall of that swimming pool or inside the swimming pool. And then, can he change the condition of the environment of the pool? In this condition, you have 4 legs, and next day he changes the condition. You have no legs and you can swim like a fish. Do we need to go through this process? So, sorry this week I don't have no machines for you, and so no teaching about the CH4 and CH3 and every other thing. But you have to understand what I've taught you up to now, that you can go through this transition. Because when you go into the depth of the space, you have to know what you need to tap that you receive energy, even though you don't go for desert island disk, as they call it in English. That you're left alone on an island, and where would you find the water, the food, and the shelter? This time, the island is the span of the universe. And this time is not your physicality, but it's the dimension of the soul which decides to take the shape of the physicality. Any questions?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Keshe, and I'll remind the attendees we have that they can put their hand up in the Zoom and we can address your question. And if there's any questions in the live stream, we did have one that you've already answered, Mr. Keshe. The one question in live stream, Plasma says, I believe Plasma is from the Chinese sector, says, tomorrow we have March. In my opinion, it's time to show devices without engines. We are waiting for these devices for a very long time.
Wait. Why don't you make it yourself?
Well, this
is
exactly what I was going to answer him.
Excuse me, we made it, is ours. We showed you the MAGRAPH system, you made all the crazy accusations, and then when you got the receivability, you were too ashamed to come back. Sorry, I received, my system works. As I said very recently, guy put a note on, what do you call it? One of these, where was it? That everything about Keshe Foundation is lie. I bought the MAGRAPH system and it doesn't work. Why don't you send it back? We refund you. You spend 1 cent on a chewing gum. If it's wet, you take it back. How did you spend 500 and then claim it back? These are all what I call wet talk. So we showed you, it's there. Why do we have to do it? You do it yourself. We are carrying on with our work. How do you think our researchers come to a conclusion to do it? Why do we have to spoon feed you and then come up with any school of thoughts you want to talk about? You've been waiting for? The researchers have been through the same teaching as you have. And everything is there.
Well, Freed answered underneath Plasma, are you listening right now? Way more surprises on the horizon. So it was, yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Keshe. As I say, you had already answered it. You had already answered it before. This whole teaching answered it, so that's the whole thing about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, excuse me, we make patches for you, everything else. You want me to give you a system that to show your soul is or something wrong with me? I always said, everyone takes from this technology according to their strength of their own understanding. If you cannot make a dynamic system, means you haven't understood. We have a beautiful saying in Farsi. We say, in some European countries, the same. You sit for exam in just end of a spring for what you did the whole year. If you pass, you go to the next year. If you haven't understood and your mark is so low, you fail. You go and do the course again, or they give you summertime a gap. We call it tajdidi, to turn up and sit for the papers which you haven't done. And if you pass, you can go to the next. Otherwise, you go back to it. It means you haven't understood, so you're going to study again. All the works are there. Go and read it. Everything is there. Our researchers don't have a special hat connected to universal community download, and they do. All the time. Nobody has been more open than us teaching, and there's still something wrong with us. Excuse me, something wrong with you. Because you want, like a chick, open mouth, feed me. It's mother's fault I don't get fed. I've been a very good father. I've fed you and I nourished you. It's you who's got to open the door and see if you can understand the life outside. The house has been very safe out there. And sorry, you've been waiting. It means you haven't understood. 265 teaching. Each one between 2.5 to 4 hours. That's 1,000 hours of my time. How long in your life sat and listened to your father or the mother? Did you ever spend 1,000 hours trying to listen to them and do what they say? I bet none of you spend more than maybe 100 hours all your life sitting and listening to what the mother said, and you're done. The father has taught for 1,000 hours. And everything is there. You got to be the child who can understand and do the job. Or, as we say in Farsi, your tajdid, go back. Do the whole year again. 6 years of teaching. Every part is connected to each other. And there is no competition. The only competition with you is you. It's you who have to progress to where you are. In the English, northern part of England, there's a methodical swimming classes. It's for racing, people who swim for races. And they have a beautiful system, more or less I haven't seen anywhere else. If there is, I don't know. A swimmer has to, every month, to swim for a race. And the only one he races is about his own time the month before. Not about other 10 people in the pool. And they all race like crazy. because they have to improve themselves for themselves, nobody else. And they produce some of the best swimmers. Because it's you who has to perfect your own knowledge. Nobody else. And it's you who fails for yourself, nobody else. And you've been promising my teaching. We even showed you the system. I was teaching to our scientists in Tehran a couple of days ago. And one of the gorgeous scientists there came up with a very beautiful way that we have read your patterns, blah, 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 blah. We have this. I said to him, I'm a magician. You read my pattern, but see what fits you. According to your understanding, you can do. The scientists in Sharif Tehran University connected are reading these patterns inside out. They have done all of it, but they still can't link it through. Because they missed the point. Chinese scientists are doing it here because we know they told us, can you give us the fuel combination, please? I said, as the Iranian nuclear physicist, you can now talk to me because you're a national scientist, but you come to me, get the fuel, so this is the Iranian technology. When we can talk to each other, you can have it. When there is no secrecy. How come you are secure? You cannot talk to foreigners, but you come to foreigners to get the intelligence? You analyze it. You should be flying. Because they've seen the systems I've done in south of China in the last summer. And even my team there, they were looking for something else, and I was collecting data, confirmation of different aspects of the technology. Everything is there. Go back. It's not my job. I've done my job. It is my job to teach you, but you've been a bad student. You touched it back to the beginning. I enjoyed teaching or sharing knowledge or teaching with the Iranian scientists past day. Because Iran will lead the space technology, the spaceship program. And we support other nations the same as Chinese, and the rest to follow and be with us not to follow. But the Iranian scientists have to understand the technology, not to copy. It's not just you. I've told them the same thing. I show you, you can fly tonight, but you have to understand where you missed. This is important for all of us. Then we cannot blame the Americans didn't share the technology. The Africans can blame the Russians, and everybody else blames everybody else, but everybody wants to share it to everybody else according to what is to benefit financially. It's the ridiculous condition today. All of us know this president, whatever, is fighting to get one nation disarmed and no nuclear. And the same nation is trying to sell nuclear technology to Saudi Arabia. If it's not good for everybody, why do you want to sell it to somebody else? You're going to have the same problem in 12 months' time. Saudi Arabia has no intelligence. Their scientists are as good as the camels thinking which side is the end. We know, I've lived without them, but they are intelligent, beautiful, intelligent people. What are they going to do? They're going to bring nuclear scientists from other nations with the high wages, 10 million, 20 million, you have enough oil. Why do you need nuclear? To become another nuclear, and then they have to go and negotiate with them like they do with Kim. If we understand that the time of nuclear is finished, then we don't need to negotiate, because I can go from Tehran to Washington in 5 minutes. The American guy wants to see how beautiful Isfahan is here. He'll be in 5 minutes and he goes home for dinner. All the knowledge is there. No man has ever opened his patents the way I have. You have to read it. And no one has taught everything in detail. Never come back to me and say, it's your problem. You know something, you're a naughty boy. Back to your bedroom, read the book. You can come out and have a fruit when you understand what was in the book. There is no exam. The only exam is your own understanding. Never ever come to me and says, you promise. I promise you are doing it. I read you something beautiful. Coming from the research centers. This is 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and I read you the text. It says something interesting. We gave out a field unit plus a patch with a special powder without telling to people who wanted to balance themselves. One with breast cancer, one with prostate cancer. Both received them as a wellness unit for balancing. These units are certified under European certification. So we are talking about the use of the Keshe Foundation technology, which is certified under health machinery. Both received them as a wellness unit for balancing. Nothing was promised. After 2-3 weeks, both went to hospital for inspection. At both, the growth stopped. The lady with the breast cancer did not have pain after 1 week. Both move on. They sleep in the unit and apply patches. They balance themselves. My technology is 100% correct. It's the job of these 2 people to come back and tell us what happened. The Keshe Foundation team works the way as me. Give the technology free to those who want to do. You haven't understood, not me. Back to school and back to your room. When you understood, please come out, I'll feed you with more knowledge. Next question, please. And the thing is, this is a dynamic system.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We can go to perhaps Saeed, I think is the name. I'll allow you to talk. You have a question in the Q&A, but you have your hand up as well. So we'll allow you to speak. The question regards, he's from Tehran, actually, in Iran. And his question, he has 2 questions about how could a human survive in sudden acceleration of a spaceship, which is extremely in very high speed, was the first question. And I think he's ready to speak here. Maybe he can say his question better. Go ahead,
Hi,
see.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Morning.
And
Salam alaikum.
Salam. Alaikum.
خیلی ممنون.
I have one question, and it's about the spaceship. I've seen that some spaceship where they are in a steady state and are not moving, and suddenly they move with a very high speed. And I was just wondering, how could a human actually survive with such acceleration?
The understanding is you look at a matter condition like an aircraft, where in spaceship technology you're dealing with a plasma fields. Inside these aircraft, inside these crafts, is not the oxygen and air as you see it. It's a condition of creation of plasmatic, which means you are in a dimension of no physicality, but in a physical condition as an energy pack. So acceleration doesn't count, because you are part of the system, within the system. The first time I tested this in Tehran, Sharif Tehran University, I wanted to prove it is correct. That it can do, it does happen. And you are thinking on a matter state. In spaceship, you work on a plasmatic state. And you don't get the acceleration the way you see it in the matter state.
I see. And my next question is about quantum particles. Is this a true scientific achievement, or is it just like a goose chase?
It makes a lot of money. And in a way, what is quantum? Minute particle, minute space. We call it a new language for it. That's all it is. We consider a very minute space and we make a lot of assumptions on it. And in a real world, anything which exists has a dynamic field, and everything outside affected inside as much as what is inside affects outside. If you ignore all the parameters just to suit, yes, we need these data, you know. We say we have a child and we want this child to, let's say, have a perfect digestion system. We say it's got no legs, no arms, it can't feed itself. We assume that it doesn't need anything else except we give it to it, we control, we take everything off, and we assume only thing we put in is what comes out. Because we don't want to face the reality, we are not there. He puts something in his mouth, he drinks, he breathes. Even the assumption that there's a lot of wrong things in it, we breathe, but when we breathe, we don't breathe the same air all the time. We take different energies every breath. So we can feed ourselves with that. That I taught about this 2 years ago in the teachings with the Indian guru who came to see us in north of Italy. So quantum physics for specific conditions under specific assumptions to achieve a specific outcome is there. You build a car to go racing, you decide what fuel, what things on it, you don't want other fuel, you assume there is no air, you assume a lot of things. Quantum physics at the moment is in that stage. And it's very much theoretical as far as we can see, but it's part of the growth of the technology, knowledge of the man. We cannot deny it, but we have to understand what quantum means. And nowadays, a lot of people, nobody else wants to understand, this is quantum. And we need, a man who says we don't need anything else is an ignorant man. But man, you have to understand, we need it, but it has to be the correct way. This is why I brought in about the holographic. Will give us a lot of things if we do it the right way, but we can't create a new, these are followers of what I call, now they have nothing else to do, they have to find a way, but the system will be used later on the way we see it, that they say there is something called the dark matter, it glues it together. And they make an equation for it, it says mathematically is correct, so it must be reality. Yeah, mathematically is correct because you made something which doesn't exist in it. My pot is full, but I don't say I put half of it just water to show it's full. It's like when you buy meat in Belgium. Any of you lived in Belgium, you have a fantastic time to live. The life of cheating is right across the work of these people. You go to a butcher, you buy a kilo of meat. When you come home, when you cook it, you get a pot of soup and some meat. Actually, a kilo is about 600 grams. 400 grams is the water injected into it. Now, we have to understand the correct conduct. A butcher says, I'm selling you a kilo, you pay me 400 for the water I injected in, and 600 is for the meat. You buy meat in China, you pay a kilo, you get a kilo. You don't get the swimming pool in your pot when you're frying. So, who tells the truth? We have to be aware. Quantum knowledge, physics, scientists, we need each other with this. Even what I teach, if there were another scientist or our parents or forefathers who added to it, would not make sense. How would you know what an atom is when I speak about an atom and then connect it to plasma? But some of it is needed, some of it is, some people take it too far to change it. With my teaching, I don't take, I teach you for you to decide what fits you. Quantum physics in a specific, for a specific cases which everything assumed doesn't exist. Who created the quantum physics? Can somebody tell me? Who's the father of the quantum physics? Do we know anybody of us?
Our information is on it here. Just give me a minute. We'll have our friend Wikipedia and see if we can come to some sort of the early excuse me, the early quantum theory was you see, it goes back to Max Planck's solution in 1900 to the black body radiation problem, and from correspondence between energy and frequency in Albert Einstein's 1905 paper, which explained the photoelectric effect. Early quantum theory was profoundly reconceived in the mid-1920s by Erwin Schrödinger and Werner Heisenberg and Max Born and others. The modern theory is formulated in various specially developed mathematical formulations. And one of them, a mathematical function, the wave function, provides information about the probability amplitude of position, momentum, and other physical properties of a particle. We could look at the Wikipedia page on that.
I'm here. Can you hear me? I'm back.
Yes.
You see, the soul of Max didn't like me, so he says, stop there. It wasn't me, it was the other guy. So Einstein needed to come up with some fallacies to be able, in a way, later on, a lot of work with the speed of light and E is equals mc squared to be proven. And if you read his work, a lot of his work is a lot of, I don't agree, I ignore this, I assume. There's, in a quantum physics, there's a lot of assumptions in many in the background that we don't see. And Maxwell, trying to do other things to prove part of the other piece, has done. Einstein brought a lot of lies into the world of physics. A lot of lies. And we have accepted it. But part of his lies can be used, or assumptions. He wanted to prove his equation of E equal mc squared is correct. And we all have fallen for it. It's the most nonsense equation ever existed. Because everything else is ignored. So, when you speak about quantum physics, read it. I never accepted that, I never bothered to, because when you understand the work of Einstein, you understand you're more or less leading on a path of fallacy, but some of the people are there, we carry on, we have to do, because the Jewish lobby is very strong. And the other hand, unfortunately, as I said, one of the most brilliant physicists, scientists in the world is an Iranian young chap, and he's given the seat of Einstein in the university where he was. And it's unfortunate our Iranian brilliant scientist has taken such a path, but we learn from it. We learn a lot from it. We will learn from it, but it needs dimensions. As I said last time, the seat of Einstein is given to this brilliant Iranian physicist. And we have to see if they don't make a sign. In the world of physics, in the world of plasma physics, you cannot make any assumption. You make assumption in a space, I assume there is no field there, so you walk in, voila, goodbye, a new dimension. You have to look at the totality. Last week we had one of our friends who was trying to say the creation of atom I listened to him before, I don't peer review, but he was making a lot of assumptions or he couldn't see the other part of it. I don't refuse, I don't say you're wrong, is look at the totality of it. If we want to specifically study if there is a specific such a condition and make it so small that nobody can think, then I can do whatever I like. I said once to my professor, Einstein has been a guy who has worked in a dark room with a bunch of audience that nobody can see whatever he does, and he says what is done. He says, oh, my hand is on my head. We don't know if his hand is on it. It could be sitting on the floor. And we all accept because he says, this is a dark room, we don't see. And quantum physics is that dark room. We can't get in it. Or then we assume whatever is being said. But they make a lot of assumptions, they make a lot of work with it. But some of the quantum studies are beautiful because we learn from it. Some of the assumptions made, some of the positions made. But you have to take quantum physics according to what conditions was supposed to be. And if all the realities have been taken into consideration. Not everything is right, not everything is wrong, but we have to understand what quantum means. In part of the world, they have taken the Keshe, somebody's microphone is open, they have taken the Keshe Foundation plasma technology and they have changed it to quantum. And the Chinese officials have found out this. That is not for it to be shown as a plasma. Now that we are working with the governments, they say, oh, we know this, but this is not your technology, change the name. I've had this a few times with the officials and the scientists here. Now we know where it comes from. Not to be against plasma technology. They do good things, they don't do bad things with it, but it has to be done, then the scientists understand where it comes and how it works. Any other question?
Or in the Q&A. We have another question from Renee, if you like. Says, I built a MagGrav system for all...
Hello, I'm back again. I got kicked out. Can you repeat that? Whatever you...
Okay, I was going to say that there's another question from Renee in the Q&A. Perhaps you've seen it there. He says, I built a MagGrav system for all 3 phases of the grid and arranged 6 MagGrav systems as a hexagon shape. As one effect, I got a very big field. And now I want to make sure that the field is rotating counterclockwise. Can you give me a hint how I can achieve this, please? I think because of the phase shift between phases already will give me that rotation, but I'm not sure. Thank you very much. Regards from Austin.
There are different ways to do it, and this has to come when you're building the MagGrav units. the way you GANs coated, you have to get the ratio that you go from the stronger to the weaker. So let's say you start with the strongest on, let's say, at 12 o'clock. Then your mixture, gas mixture of the next one at 9 o'clock has to be, let's say, 4:1 or 4:2, and then the one at the bottom at 6 o'clock should be gas coating 1. Then you can create a dynamic system, because at the same time they try to feed each other, you dictate the condition of the rotation. It's very easy to do, but you have to do it on the time you're building it, or how you space your gaps. You have created, you can create enforced rotation too. The spacing of, we know this from our maggraph system. Some of the maggraph systems you took from the Keshe Foundation, they say it doesn't work in one country, but we take it back and it works in the country. It's just to do the magnetic field pressure which the current in that country creates. Originally we didn't understand, so it comes here, it doesn't work. But if we send the unit at a 50 hertz frequency to another country, 55 or 60, it works in the other one, but because the compression of the magnetic field will create magnetic blockage, or it overflies over the system into the grid. John did some of these experiments very early on, a couple of years ago in Arizona. And you can actually, by coating, dictate the direction of the flow. If you have run dynamic systems, you can see it. If you have a picture of the Iranian nuclear space reactor, which is somewhere in the center, it's one of the pictures. We have a window there, a plastic window, and through the window we could see which direction the core rotates. And if we change some fields, we could see the center core goes anti-clockwise. Even if we could bring the next core, what's called the electrode or the twin system, near to it, by moving it, I could see the rotation of the center core changes. Nothing, we don't change anything. We just have a second core. We've done this before. Let me share. In the systems in Tehran, if you look at it, the system is like this. The system is like this. It has a housing, and then you have a rim, and then you have a dome. And inside this dome, we have a second reactor. And this is saturated with nuclear material. And here we have a window. We could watch the operation of this inner core. You see it's got double feeding, where this one feeds into the center core direct, and this one changes the gases in the outer core. We have a secondary core, again twin system, preloaded and rotating on the same basis. We could bring this close and move it back, and then we could see the change of direction in this one. No changes anyway, just by movement of the system outside. This is why we have taught this many times. This is why we see Venus going anti-clockwise. The reason the Venus is going clockwise is because its proximity to the Sun. When it passes this zone, it might start going anti-clockwise. Venus, most probably when it was in the position of the Earth, was going anti-clockwise. Magnetic field pressure changes the direction of the rotation. That's why we have positrons. It's just to do with the energy of the center in respect to the electron. If we assume all the protons are the same, and all, no, they are not. If this is called a proton, this have a bandwidth of the energy from 1 to 12, let's say. This proton with a bandwidth of electron of 1 to 12 gives this direction. What about the next electron, which is sitting on the 6 here, but this one is still 12? So it forces to change position. We've done this many times. In the Iranian space reactor, this was many because we wanted to see landing and takeoff. If you change by other side. In the present system, the what we call the star formation, you dictate that with the top core in a very specific way, or you use the flow ratio between the bottom cores. This we know over 12 or 15 years, because the original reactor we built in Belgium, which was a stainless steel, it was very earlier on. This was sitting on a motor, and this rotates how I used to put gas in it, and it has a steel pin. And sometimes I just changed the gas. It was early times of testing. I could inject, create condition of a nuclear, what do you call it, plasma, without any nuclear material. And by changing certain parameters, I could rotate it. And sometimes the pressure of change was so much that you've seen this, I think people knowledge 16. The pin of this type up top has been bent because the field forces are so strong that the stainless steel, I think it's about half a centimeter diameter, something like that, is bent. Field forces are very strong. So I wanted, when I did this and I could see these changes, I couldn't understand at that time, but now we understand more and more that inside there's a layer of magnetic fields. This is the cause now you have, and non-dimensional. So part of this was to create a second core in parallel, which we did in Tehran, and confirm the technology. I'm an engineer. I make things and I prove it, that nothing is theoretical.
Mr. Keshe, we have a picture of the original reactor that we're referring to there. Would you like to have a look at that?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me share that.
This is made nearly 11 years ago in Tehran Sharif University, and it's a beautiful machine because it's very versatile. You see, that's a bottom. I try to show you. This is the gas tank. Iran space program is so advanced. Iranian scientists are gorgeous to work with. This is our gas tank. Inside this, there is a second reactor core. This is static. This one is dynamic. And this is embedded with huge amount of radioactive material. And we don't use it now. And if you see here, you have two springs. We had a motor here that rotates this, and this gets heated up. So we put a coil system around it. This ends up in a cooling system that we keep in a vacuum, because we burn the first reactor because of these. You see, I'm going to clean this up because it's easier. Then you can see it's not too much. Okay. I cannot rub, but there we are. It's going. Okay. This we need to take off. So what you have is here you have a dynamic system, and this is the window. You could see the operation. Here you see on the side, we could change the polarity of the plasma in the outer ring. Here we can control the electric power to the motor. And this is the feed to the center core. It's a special core here, dynamic. It can go 3000 RPM, sold in Germany. Many Keshe Foundation people in Belgium who were made the reactors use this. I told them where to buy. And this one feeds the outside core. So we could monitor the whole operation from here. And there is another core, the white one. If you go into the 129 setup, you see the second Iranian reactor. Then when we used to bring it in, we could see the rotation of these changes. I remember our friend from the Office of the President, they used to laugh sometimes when I used to tell them, so what do we do with it? Because it was confirmation of positron magnetic field changes the direction. And as you can see, this is the gas into the center core, and this is the gas to the outer core. We connected to, what do you call it? The minute milligram of gases. And then field pressure dictates the rotation. And it was obvious now how positron deposits immediate reaction. Originally, we could see the changes, and sometimes this thing totally stops, and I thought the motor is burned. To open these bolts, you see here, I think it's about 16 of them, right? It used to take half a day to do one setting. We had to open these bolts, and you see here there's a lot of silicone tape, silicone glue, and then tighten up, sealing out to go for the next one. We couldn't do more than one test a day sometimes, if you wanted to change, because let me do something here. You see it here, it's clear now. You see the position of radioactive sources were set for different testing. So when we finished with one, we had to change the combination to see what's the effect. Now I want to take up, I want to put field pressure here. We could change it that way. Even with the inner dome, we could change the radioactive material inside or outside to change, and then take half of it off and see what it does. A lot of tests done too, we achieved. On the 28th of Shaban at 5:30 in the afternoon, we achieved the first motion lift in Tehran. And there is no air displacement. It's totally gravitational magnetic field positioning. And it is part of the original structure. And then with Arman in Italy, he went into the small reactors and using the gases, and we saw the 129. The original base, because of the magnetic field pressures, just blew out. It burnt out. Actually, one of the reasons it blew out, burnt out, I sat on it, trying to fly with it. I couldn't take the weight. And it was part of it. I wanted to hold it to the ground. And for me to build a reactor like this in Belgium or in England, from the point of design to the test, used to be about 12 months, 18 months. When I blew out the base of the first one, I called the office and I said, I need a new reactor. I remember my, what do you call it, people, they came and says, can you give us a design? What do you want this time? So I gave this design to them. I remember it was a Tuesday morning, and next Tuesday morning, they delivered this to me, 7 days. Cut everything. And then we wanted to test the effect of magnetic field on the metals. And I wanted a metal ring here, a special metal ring. His Excellency President Ahmadinejad ordered the metals imported from Japan overnight. The ring is still with us. Because we wanted to know how would be the effect of the matter on non-magnetic or magnetic material, but stainless steel which cannot get magnetic. What you see here, the table underneath where this sits on it, this table is made by the Iranian scientists. It's a totally non-magnetic stainless steel. I have 20 of them. All the labs I work at is no magnetic field interference. It's made especially in Tehran. Then we wanted to see the effect of the pressure in the gas tank, because those days we filled this one with a combination of gases, helium, argon, to see what effects it gives us. How was the field radiation? And this is the one you've seen in the test in, what do you call it, in Belgium. We start with 9.1 kilogram, and with less than a few grams of gas, milligrams of gas, we come to 6.1. We lose 3 kilograms with less than a few milligrams, and no air displacement. This is the second. The first one, you see this is got the plastic bottom. We tried to repair it, it was impossible. And then with this, I asked, I want this to be made. I have a beautiful memories from building that steel and part of this system. It was a Maha Ramazan, which is the fasting time, and I don't fast. So I used to work, they used to take me to a factory to build part of this, and poor chaps, they're fasting, but they brought me, the wife of the owner of the factory brings me food that I eat, and they used to lock me in the room. You know, this guy, he doesn't fast. I'm not that kind of man. And then they sat with me, built this one step by step. The design of this is from Belgium. We couldn't break through. He came up with a suggestion how to create a double system to fit through one pipe. This is a beautiful flight. It's the first. It's actually the second, because the first one, when he flew, I jumped on it. I wanted to fly with it. And they told me fly through the ceiling, it's no problem. And then I built the second one, which is again double core. But that is a free full circle, you've seen it. We tested it. I never opened my reactor system to public. And all came because of one of the knowledge seekers. When he came to this Insano, he brought a beautiful stainless system, but it wouldn't work. He tried everything, and he said, it doesn't work. I will stop. I said, I'll give you one of mine. And Arman can tell you, I took them into my lab next door. And once they got hold of one reactor, the rest of the magic box opened up. And all my reactors have become part of the teaching process. So up to that time, so Marco asked for it that it can't work. Everything was kept away. This reactor was shown to the Boeing International. They were so scared to see it on the pavement. They kept it in Brussels. It was Iranian technology. It cannot come in. It was the problem as we have today. And I carried it in a backpack. Actually, this fits into, I used to go everywhere. Nobody could suspect this was a backpack. It's a space reactor in it. It had its own backpack. We used to put it on the trolley backpack. And it weighs very little, a few, 2, 4 or 5 kilograms. And I took it to the office of the Prime Minister of Belgium, and they said, you can't bring it in. Took it in for them to see it. I was proud that Iran has achieved this. And the system now, we are more advanced. The Chinese system is much more advanced. You create a condition and you see the pressures inside the system, and you change the nuclear materials. This carries hundreds of nuclear sources in it, not just 1 or 2 or 10 or 12. We could control every inch and see the effect of it. This side is a tank. Below here is a fuel tank with a motor in it. All the action is in this part, and you can control the dome. I'm proud to be Iranian, because we share it freely. We don't hide it in patterns and crooked jobs. This is the way knowledge should be shared. I wondered how many of you bring your soul back and share with us what the soul experience was when you go into the depth of the space. How much you bring for us to learn. The whole understanding of this, if you look at it, this is very much is the physicality of the man. If you look at it in the other way, this is the physical body, the brain of the man. That's the skull. Then inside it, you have the physical structure of the body. And inside it, there is a soul. Because as Rick, you done the first experiments we saw when you did the dynamic system, if you remember, you see a hollow space in the middle of the core. It's the same here, it's the soul of it. And because we can observe it, with this system, we could go to -13. Better than the space vacuum. And then we used to feel what we wanted to feel in it. But I had a problem, inherent problem. I was today with a scientist for another job, and I said to him, we can't use plastic. We have to use something else, because when you create a condition of the plastic, and then you condition to vacuum, and then to radiation or plasma field, the molecular structure of the plastic opens up. Your purity goes out the window. This is why we could achieve 129 with the reactors which ARMA made out of copper. And some of our people have a problem with the new plastic copper cores, because you don't see it, but because you're not aware of it, the plasma creates a specific condition that affects the molecular structure of the plastic. You can start with -13 and leave it and come back in the morning is -8, -9. And you think something else. So I built a system that I copper coated this totally. Arman can tell us if he's there. It's totally black inside, copper nano coated. I leave it at night 13, I come back in the morning, it's still 13. Because I took the deterioration of the plastic from it, so we knew the process. Some of the problems with the balls which Chanlin sells from China, and many of you using it, is this, because the plasma cannot keep the inherent properties of the magnetic field. It interferes with it, and if you look at it, now there's most of you are scientists better than me, it has a CH combination on it. Or sometimes it has a COH combination on it. Depends on the polymer. And it's a double bond or a single bond, doesn't matter. When you put a CO2 gas in it, you can see where it starts shaking, doesn't it? Or if you put a CH3 on it, God help you. You don't see the results, which Alma will see in the copper cores. You have to understand the science behind it, what you're dealing with. In the what we call the clinical trials, we understood very quickly how we could play with CO2 and CH3 and the reason behind it. And now most of you know CH3, I'll call it CH14 or CH12. The same thing can feed the soul of the man or the physicality of the man. That's the energy. When I do tests, I just don't do to achieve something. I do to see what it gives me. When you target to achieve something, you learn nothing, because when it doesn't get there, there is something wrong. But in the process, if you're open, you consider every step and you learn from it. Those who look for results never become researchers. Those who target the results but learn the path, what's happening in that process, are the people who can add to knowledge.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. That was very interesting. We were discussing some.
And you remember that one? That created a lot of deaths.
This one, I can show you the Wikipedia if you want to get into to know a little bit about it. It's used, they say it's used as a dietary therapy for epilepsy, in particular in children, and forces the body to burn fats rather than carbohydrates, is the idea. We could look into it if you like, or it's
I'm not making a comment, but you don't need to go any further. I don't make any comment on this.
Very good, thank you.
I can see where the problem is. You just said it. You have to understand what epilepsy is. In the medical teachings, I've explained the epilepsy. Epilepsy, actually, I can talk about it. Why not? Because this is a case we have in saving a girl with numerous epilepsy attacks with 20 tablets a day, and in less than 3 months, no tablets, no epileptic attack, and it's a criminal offense in Belgium, and no medicine, understanding the plasma technology. Of course, what do you expect? Let me tell you something why. This is biology we teach. We leave the stupid people to live their own lives. You have to understand what epilepsy is. In the brain of the man, this is your neck, and this is your nose. I'm not a very good drawer. You have your brain, and then you have a spinal cord. At a point, somewhere, it's a specific point, there is a switch. This switch, how it works, can create coma, can create epilepsy, can create drowsiness, can put you to sleep. Actually, when it works in a different way, it's a point where your physicality switches for your soul to operate. If you understand what I'm talking about. That it cuts off. It's like, you run two engines. When this point works, it disconnects from the soul, and then the physicality goes to sleep. You know this point very well, because if you've been a driver, for example, or you push yourself to do something and you fall asleep and you shake up, you wake up, is this switch which goes to work. It's the size of a tip of a needle. So, but it has a specific function. Let's say it has 2 megabytes of information can go through at a time. It's got the size of a pipe. You know, you can put so much water through 2-inch pipe or 4-inch pipe. Let's say this can carry so much information to rest of the body, because it goes through the spinal cord. Some of your information goes through the soul with the radiation that goes instantaneous. But when a neurosystem is used, your nerve system, which is specifically for muscle tissue, this is what the nerves are, for muscle tissue, because it's copper, it has to be transferred to it, and the zinc and the copper match perfect. So what happens is that when the brain is normal condition, produces 5 megawatts of information. So this can carry through. But if you get the brain busy, the brain now produces 3 megabytes of information. And most of this information is a physical information. Like that, to move or create a condition, a repetitive condition. So what happens? Let's say you go in a switch, now you create 12 megabytes of information. Some of the people with epilepsy create that condition themselves, and I know how to catch it. So what happens? I'm going to clean this up, and then it's too much mess here. We go back. This is the, sorry, clean up, go back to the same colors. This is the skull, and this is the face of the man, whatever. And this is your neurosystem. And this is the brain, and produces this. This point can only allow 2 megabytes of information per shot. Because a lot of people have to remember, again, remember that wherever there is a gravity, there is magnetic field. This is a lower level current, which can go to, or is a higher level current that it can come from. So higher electric current is produced from here, that in trying to get to the lower inner organ, it just travels very fast. It's a plasmatic flow. But on the reverse, it pulls information back up. That's how we have reflexes. So this is got 1 megabyte of going and 1 megabyte of coming back. So the 2 megabytes used. Now you put the body in a 12 megabyte cycle. Can be physical, can be a lot of other things. So now you have traffic jam of 12 trying to go through a 12 more coming up as well, 24, and you have a capacity of 11. So what does the body do? It opens up the switch, allows 2 through, and it closes it till all this are consumed by the body, because it cannot do anything, and it receives everything back what it needs to come back. Now, switch on and off. You take a switch light and switch it on and off. You get darkness, you get on. The easiest way is, I can explain it. You get a water hose with a high pressure from the tap, and you close and open this end of it. What's going to happen? This tip of the pipe, because you're close to the tap, it'll go like a snake. It moves till you get rid of the pressure on the water. It's the same here. So when you see a shake of the epilepsy, the shake of the body is when this is switched off, the information is coming out. And it opens and shuts till all the 12 megabytes of coming and going is used. So what you see as a shake of the body is a switching of this point. So if you understand this, you have number of options as a doctor to handle this. And medicine doesn't work. Because if you take medicine, you have to get it all the time, or you create a plasmatic condition that the body never allows itself to create 12 megabytes. You increase the capacity through the plasmatic condition, or you settle the soul. And once you settle the soul or you change the capacity, they never have an epileptic attack. Then, from what you tell me, changing carbon, this thing is through the conductivity of the body, which is connected to CO2 or to the carbon. We do this in all the certified gas water systems. We use, when you buy a system from Austria, CO2, which is certified gas medically as a medical equipment, that's what we do. So if you interfere with the electric wire and you cut it, you have a problem. Where do you cut? Or where do you create damage? Doctors don't understand. Nowadays they see the shake of the epilepsy and they try to control it. If you understand the cause of epilepsy the way we do, you're done. And it's a criminal offense in Belgium to help anybody who has had an epileptic attack and has none. Only in Belgium. The rest of the world, they greet you. You save a life. And the one who says, I'm okay, you go to prison. If you say it's damaged you. It's damaged you, I don't take 20 tablets a day. They threaten to put them in prison. And people lie not to go to prison. So now you understand the epilepsy. And if you interfere with what do you call it, with anybody who uses this, I advise you understand what you do, because the current flow goes through carbon. We know this because we use it. And then secondly, we know this takes a lot of energy. This releases because it puts a lot of pressure on the muscles. And if it's connected at a certain length, it creates, like you put your finger in your mouth, it creates convulsion. And that's why some of people who have epileptic go through convulsion, because it's like me shaking you and turning you. the stomach can't take. And then some of them which create a lot of what do you call it, foam in their mouth. We understand why. And when you look at the whole parameter of epilepsy, you know where the damage is, which part of the brain you have to handle. It's a processing, and our doctors around the world who use the technology know exactly how to use it. But when you say the carbon diet, I know what the problem is, but that is for people who to be wise. Epilepsy, is after that. When you see the shake of the body in epilepsy, is when the accident is finished. It's a crushed body. It's not the cause of the accident. The brakes are gone. You say, what's wrong with the car? Carry on, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We had a question from the Facebook, I believe it is. And it's about death. It's about, what about those who died? This question is from Hassan. What about those who have died? Why don't we see our parents who have passed away coming back? Is it because of the pain of physicality? They prefer to stay in the dimension they are? Are they happier in those dimensions and choose to just communicate with us in dream? Are they waiting for us to be ready to see them, or are they waiting for us to go and meet them? Thank you.
I think you answered yourself, but you don't know what you've written. Can you read it again? And when I tell you stop, stop.
Okay. Starts out, what about those who died? Why don't we see our parents, which have passed away, coming back?
Do you expect it physically, you mean? Carry on.
Is it because of the pain of physicality they prefer to stay in the dimension they are? Are they happier in those dimensions and choose to just communicate with us in dream?
That's the word, isn't it? Listen to the teaching of last week, or the week before, or the week before that. And I explained what a dream is. You call it a dream, but this is the reality of the dimension of the soul that leaves some impression behind because it's connected to both physical dimension and the soul dimension. That's where the CH14 and CH12 come in. And is an imprint. We're always in touch with our parents. Doesn't matter, even if they're alive sitting next to us, we still talk through the soul. But we are too physical. we are never detached from those who come to our life, create a magnetic field with us, be it our wife, be it our lovers, be it our neighbor, be it somebody in the bus. Why do we dream about somebody we saw in the bus? We never had any contact, but you create a contact with the soul. And as I said in some of the teaching years ago, now we open the door to mankind to go to space, and you only see the space, the soul of the creatures. And physicality, then what nightmares you're going to have? But it was not a nightmare, it's the guy you already seen, but you're not aware of it. It was sitting next to you as a dimension of physicality of business. You call it a dream, but that's the reality of existence of your soul. The thing is, we, us human have a very bad habit, and maybe I can explain the dream to you this way. We live, let's say, in England, and we decide to go and live in Australia. We say goodbye to mom and dad. I am gone, no contact, nothing. And then you go to Australia, and you can't go and see every day, too busy with life. Maybe a year, 2 years later, you get a flight and you go back and see mom. Was mom dead? Didn't have a life? Or just because you come back, you got a life for you? The soul of the man lives the same way. The soul of the mother and the father are there. They have their own dimension of living in England, and you have your own dimensions. Sometimes you meet. Just because you are used to dimension of physicality and you go there for fish and chips and a pint of beer with dad, doesn't mean they were not there. They were dead. No, you chose, and this is what it is. We just change clothes. That is not, man has made it such a big thing, but it's just, it's a change of, as I explained earlier in the teaching. We decide, like that bird, how it looks and what it is. They're not, as I said yesterday, they're not Gucci's, and no Saint Laurent to buy clothing in the space or for your soul. It's absolutely naked. But how do you know it's the mother you have, you're talking to? Don't you have a dream when your mom is in England and you're in Australia? Was she dead, or does she come to see you? It's us, we restrict our own intelligence. But if you understand the totality, it's not there.
I think my mother talks to me more now than when she was alive.
You gotta find her husband there, I think. Your dad is not keeping her busy enough.
Well, I do get messages from my mother occasionally. She had wise words of wisdom and a certain way about her, and I just get like a flash or an imprint or impression of her presence, you might say, and sort of almost like a guiding force from time to time. But fortunately for me, it's not an everyday occurrence. I don't need that at my age.
You never know. The reality is that we got to understand what we call the dream now that we have developed the science of man, and that is part of our life. We try, or part of our brain decides to remember it or not. Why do we dream in the daytime? It's the same, because the soul is in touch, not the physicality. I remember talking about your mom. I remember I was in Seoul, in South Korea, and our team with the group, we went for lunch. If you've been to Seoul, the Park Hotel is part of the Seoul Olympic Stadium. We were kept there for some days. And we were walking down, there's like a park down the hill, and we had lunch. Coming back up, there were birds singing and singing and singing next to me in strength of power. And I turned around and I said to them, I know my mother is dead. You don't need to bring me the message. I know her soul is gone. I walked into the hotel and I received a call. Your mom has passed away. It could be anything, but you understand the emotion. And sometimes it's like what you say, the soul, the how you are connected. We do not need the physicality to reach others. It's just as I said to Caroline, we come to this planet because physical life is nice. You have a lot of other bits with it. We come to experience it. Any other question, or shall we call the days nearly 3
I know we're getting on here. Just want to show you a picture that's one of our memories from the past, and I think it's a good one to show of the previous time and reactors you were talking about earlier. It's one of our favorite knowledge seekers, Armin. And he's dressed for the occasion in his lab coat in the lab in Italy. And he's showing that nano coating that you were talking about earlier, I believe, the copper nano coating inside.
This stops the interaction with the plastic. The one on the left, the blue one, is a cap of made in Belgium, and is a cap of I can never say the word. What do you call it? How do you clean water? Reverse.
Reverse osmosis.
Osmosis, yeah. That's the cap of a system which was built for reverse osmosis, yeah.
A reverse osmosis filter, I think there would be. Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for that hint. Thanks for that hint 6 years later. We could have used that back then. No, that's great.
And then you see the plastic ring was to hold it down. We couldn't frame it down. And this is this chap. He's a problem everywhere. Armin. But he's using it. It's there.
Dziękuję za obejrzenie i wysłuchanie. No nie wiem, jak ktoś będzie chciał coś dodać, zapraszam. Długi warsztat, dużo informacji.
Tam Kuba z tej strony. Taka cisza, to jak tylko tak tytułem dygresji dodam odnośnie tego plastiku i jakichś specyficznych interakcji z polami, no to tak z obserwacji na podstawie takich wężyków jako naszyjniki, czy to na nadgarstki zakładanych, gdzie wężyki plastikowe, gdzie w środku mieszczamy gansy, no to zaobserwowane jest zmiana właściwości fizycznych takiego wężyka, z tych takich miękkich, akwarystycznych. One bardzo szybko się jakby starzeją, czyli twardnieje, zmienia się troszeczkę kolor w ciągu paru miesięcy w porównaniu do niepoddanego oddziaływaniu gansów, kiedy ta zmiana zachodzi w ciągu kilku lat aż. Czyli energetyczny wpływ jest zauważalny. To tylko tyle chciałem. Dziękuję.
No dzięki, Kuba. Ja może dodam na temat właśnie snów, gdzie potwierdza mi się wiele rzeczy w tym warsztacie na temat komunikacji, chociażby nawet z rodzicami. No i to jest bardziej jakby motywujące, żeby zająć się tą jakby częścią bardziej plazmatyczną. To jest jeden aspekt. No i drugi, który też mi jakby w pewien sposób rozwiązuje część rzeczy na temat epilepsji, którą widziałem parę razy u kogoś. I nawet z tą osobą kiedyś rozmawiałem i zawsze przy tych właśnie silniejszych emocjach lub radości jakiejś bardzo dużej, gdzie tak jak Keshe powiedział o tym przepływie tych informacji, one jakby wracają. To się potwierdza, że bardzo duży przepływ, który chce powrócić, powoduje właśnie te skurcze i ciała w formie fizycznej, a wiemy to, że to jest ten jakby powrót. Tak jak było przytoczone często w niektórych kranach, jak otworzymy wodę, tak jak to było powiedziane, jest to trzęsienie. Czasami jak jest grzybek w kranie jakiś luźny, no to widzimy, że część tej wody jakby chciała wrócić i porusza nim w dwie strony i mamy drgania. To taki przykład jakby z fizycznego pola. No i coraz więcej tutaj mamy jakby rozwiązań. Zobaczyliśmy, jak działał ten reaktor irański. Znaczy nie to, że jak działał, ale jak był zbudowany poprzez zrozumienie tych oddziaływań. Wcześniej było na temat, ja to tak od tyłu idę teraz. Wcześniej Keshe mówił o tym, że wszystkie nauki, które były do tej pory, mamy wszystko wyłożone i ponownie jakby się powtórzył, że możemy wrócić, ale to była odpowiedź na pewne pytanie, na które nie pamiętam, kto czekał, ale chodziło o to, kiedy się pojawi fizycznie cokolwiek w formie jakiejś maszyny latającej. Było coś o przyspieszeniu, z tego co kojarzę, i jaka jest możliwość wytrzymania warunków przyspieszenia w takim pojeździe. I rozwiązanie, odpowiedź na to pytanie była oczywista, przecież nie używamy stanu fizycznego, tylko stanu plazmatycznego, gdzie nie występuje tam powietrze, ponieważ też nie musimy jakby oddychać. Oddychamy, że tak powiem, siłą pól duszy. No ja to tak rozumiem. I było coś o kwarkach, nie, o kwantach. O kwarkach było wcześniej. Jeżeli chodzi o te kwanty, to tak nie bardzo łapię, o co tam z nimi chodziło. Tak więc jak ktoś chce jeszcze coś dodać, to zapraszam. Jeśli nie, to zaraz skończymy.
Dzień dobry, dobry wieczór wszystkim. Ja bym chciał w zasadzie powiedzieć krótko o tym, co obserwuję w sobie, tak, na sobie, odnośnie do warsztatu, który był ostatnio. Pan Keshe mówił o uwarunkowaniach, żeby zrozumieć swoje własne uwarunkowania. Ja to tak rozumiem w ten sposób, że tworząc przepływ z fizyczności w ten przełącznik, o którym mówił, by tam przełączyć się na wymiar samych pól, by dosięgnąć to, co nazywamy duszą, tak, czy emocjonalną częścią. Tworząc ten przepływ, używałem, mówię w zasadzie tak jak ja to obserwowałem, używałem właśnie swoich własnych uwarunkowań, typu, znaczy w zasadzie to trzeba najpierw zrozumieć, czym są uwarunkowania. Co determinuje to, że tworzę przepływ jakąś konkretną emocją, jakąś konkretną intencją, tak? I tutaj ważne jest, żeby zaobserwować te własne uwarunkowania i w pewien sposób wyłączyć to złe słowo, ale nie używać ich, żeby używać własnej samej idei tego przepływu, samej informacji, samej świadomości o tym przepływie, by pójść do góry, bez tych uwarunkowań właśnie. Te uwarunkowania, z tego co rozumiem, jest to częścią fizyczności i bardzo dużo tego trzeba, żeby cokolwiek zrobić, a tutaj tą samą pracę bez uwarunkowań własnych, z tego co rozumiemy z warsztatów, gdzie dusza nie ma ograniczeń, nie ma limitów, tak? Przejrzystość duszy, tak? By to było w 209 chyba bodajże, teraz nie pamiętam dokładnie, czy w 201 było o przejrzystości duszy, żeby usunąć z fizyczności kamienie w drodze do duszy. I te kamienie to ja rozumiem na przykład pod postacią właśnie własnych uwarunkowań w tworzeniu przepływu do niej, w tworzeniu ścieżki, by dostać się właśnie do górnego reaktora. Więc te uwarunkowania to w pewien sposób właśnie jest hamulec, jest to ograniczenie, tak? A tutaj poprzez świadomość, poprzez zrozumienie tego, że nie ma ograniczeń, że trudno to w zasadzie powiedzieć, ale to wynika właśnie z ostatnich warsztatów, na których właśnie pan Keshe mówi o tym, o wolności, o tym, że dusza jest czysta, tak, że jest święta. I tutaj fizyczność w pewien sposób musi się zrównać, tak to rozumiem, żeby nie używać własnych uwarunkowań, by dojść do kontaktu z duszą, tak? No i stamtąd zacząć emitować konkretny warunek, może to jest za dużo powiedziane, ale konkretną intencję, gdzie ona w tej pracy właśnie w dawaniu tej intencji, w wprowadzaniu jej w środowisko, w świeceniu nią, gdzie jednocześnie nie szuka się w tym potwierdzenia, gdzie to jest takie, ja to rozumiem jako sprzężenie zwrotne, gdzie jest potwierdzenie dla samego siebie, ale w całym tym procesie jest się obserwatorem tego działania. Nie wiem, może nie dodałem, trochę to skomplikowane, ale chciałem powiedzieć i ogólnie cieszę się, że warsztaty są dalej tłumaczone. Bardzo dziękuję wszystkim tłumaczom, którzy poświęcają swój czas, by inni mogli to oglądać. Dziękuję bardzo.
Ja również Ci dziękuję, Dawid, i pewnie wielu z nas. Jest ktoś jeszcze?
No, witam wszystkich, Paweł się z tej strony kłania. Jeżeli ja bym mógł tutaj coś, do czegoś wrócić, co było dzisiaj szczególnie pokazywane, albo w pewien sposób chciałbym to podkreślić, żeby po prostu zwrócić na to troszeczkę głębszą uwagę, a mianowicie ten reaktor, który był dość szczegółowo teraz opisany przez doktora Keshe. Szczerze mówiąc, jeszcze nigdy nie spotkałem się na przestrzeni różnych wykładów, żeby tak dokładnie go opisywał, a może robił to tylko po prostu w inny sposób na to patrzyłem. Jarku, jeżeli moglibyśmy na chwilę do tego wrócić, chciałbym tylko pokazać na pewno punkty, albo wskazać je, które moglibyśmy zaobserwować w różnych oczywiście swoich wymiarach zrozumienia. I tutaj sama konstrukcja tego reaktora może na samym zdjęciu nie jest specjalnie za pierwszym razem dobrze widoczna. Natomiast jeżeli przejdziemy przez ten kawałek, nie wiem ile on ma, 10 minut, bardzo zachęcam, żeby tutaj sobie zobaczyć ten kawałek naprawdę kilka razy i wtedy zacząć go dopiero rozbierać na elementy wtórne z pozycji na przykład, którą rozumiemy. Oczywiście jest tutaj mowa o gansach, jest tutaj mowa o nanogazach, jest tutaj mowa o czymś, co w pewien sposób na dzień dzisiejszy możemy rozumieć w wielu różnych aspektach, w zależności przez jaki pryzmat patrzymy na to, ale zachęcałbym zobaczyć też na to z punktu i fizycznego, i punktu tego, co jest fizyczne w naszym ciele, i jak gdyby porównać sobie te warianty, które pracują w nas i zobaczyć, jakie jesteśmy w stanie wytworzyć paliwo do odpowiednich części reaktora, w których w późniejszym czasie tego teachingu, w moim zrozumieniu, jak ja to widzę, dr Keshe referował, opisując padaczkę. Wynika to właśnie z tego, jakie będziemy tworzyli ładunki gansowe, jeżeli to mogę tak nazwać, a w pewien sposób też rozumiemy, że mówiąc o gansach, mamy na myśli już zupełnie inne gazy, które są w troszeczkę innym nanostanie. W momencie, kiedy ten element zaczniemy też sobie rozpatrywać w tym punkcie widzenia, załóżmy nie tylko z opisu fizycznego, że tutaj jest wężyk, tutaj były inne rzeczy, to zobaczymy, że dr Keshe używa tutaj też w tym wykładzie słownictwa, które idealnie pasuje do, gdzie jest linia karmiąca cały reaktor, gdzie jest struktura, powiedzmy, rezystywności, czyli oporności całego systemu, gdzie on zaczyna utrzymywać w sobie to, co tak naprawdę zaakceptował w przyjęciu. Wracamy tutaj do pozycji silniejszy karmi słabszego. I też proponowałbym zwrócić uwagę na to, gdzie do tego reaktora były wprowadzane nowe gazy, które zmieniały kondycję, kierunku i siły czy prędkości obrotu wewnętrznego reaktora, tego całego urządzenia. Myślę, że tutaj wiele rzeczy nam pozwoli to jak gdyby zaobserwować, które na wiele sposobów mamy, korzystamy, widzimy, nie widzimy, to już zależy od każdego indywidualnego zrozumienia, ale w samej jak gdyby strukturze tego opisu i dokładności, precyzyjności używanych rysunków na tym reaktorze przez doktora Keshe i wartości dwóch zmiennych, którą potocznie znamy jako CH3 i potocznie znamy jako CO2. Dzisiaj te dwa elementy rozumiemy jako C12 i C14. Oczywiście ma to wiele aspektów wymiarowych także, tak? Bo tutaj mówimy w odniesieniu do reaktora. To pytanie, w którym aspekcie ten reaktor jest rozpatrywany. Ale ta mieszanka tych gansów, jak dobrze zauważyliśmy, ma bardzo duży wpływ na różnego rodzaju materiały, z których używamy to, czy z których budujemy obudowę. Dlatego bardzo często też dr Keshe podkreślał to w bardzo znaczący sposób, żeby pamiętać, aby znanokołtować każdy reaktor z obu stron, czyli od strony wewnętrznej i od strony zewnętrznej, co powoduje bezpośredni przepływ pól przez materiał, który jest fizycznym materiałem, na którym jest osadzony ten nanocoating, powodując to, że ta fizyczność nie ma najmniejszego znaczenia w interakcji zmiany samego materiału czy samego przepływu pól. Tutaj fajnie Kuba powiedział o tym, że plastik się zmienia. Fajna obserwacja, która pokazuje nam i potwierdza, że rzeczywiście to się tak dzieje. Natomiast też możemy tutaj później zauważyć kolejne aspekty tego, co się zmienia nie tylko w nas, ale co się zmienia w nanocoatingu reaktorów. I tutaj przy okazji też chciałbym dodać, że w pewien sposób udowodniliśmy sobie w dość niedawnym, niedalekim czasie proces zdalnego nanokołtowania. Na początku w pewien sposób przyglądaliśmy się temu procesowi właśnie używając pracy takiego reaktora, jak tutaj jest pokazany. Dokładnie w ten sam sposób, jak zostało to przedstawione przez doktora Keshe. Na początku żeśmy dokonywali tych procesów nie do końca, jak gdyby rozumiejąc ich wynik, co też było tutaj wcześniej powiedziane, ponieważ nie szukaliśmy żadnego wyniku, tak naprawdę każdy element, który się pokazywał, dawał nam możliwość zrozumienia, czyli stawał się automatycznie wynikiem. Dopiero dosyć niedawno, stosunkowo niedawno, zrozumieliśmy, że ten proces jest w rzeczywistości procesem zdalnego czy odległego na odległość procesu powlekania struktury nano. Szczerze mówiąc, zaczęliśmy się temu przyglądać trochę w inny sposób i dosyć ciekawie te eksperymenty zaczęły pokazywać, że tak naprawdę nano jesteśmy w stanie nanosić w bardzo zdalny i jednocześnie bardzo bezpośredni, wręcz natychmiastowy sposób na odpowiednie struktury. Oczywiście to, co mówię, ma wiele aspektów, które możemy rozdzielić na kolejne poziomy, podpoziomy, w zależności od tego, jak chcemy do tego dojść. Natomiast te procesy w pewien sposób zostały udowodnione, zostały opowiedziane zostały pokazane, zostały narysowane, a więc w każdym aspekcie tej technologii zostało to praktycznie w każdym wymiarze udowodnione, że technologia jest 100% poprawną technologią, a jej zdolności, tak jak też tutaj w pewien sposób powiedział Dawid, kondycjonuje uwarunkowanie, które stawiamy w pozycji pewnego, powiedzmy, kontenera i tego, co w kontenerze się jak gdyby znajduje. Dlatego jeszcze raz na sam koniec bardzo, bardzo mocno podkreślam ważność, bynajmniej z mojego punktu widzenia, wytłumaczeń i rysunków, które teraz właśnie tutaj widzicie i wcześniej są świetnie przetłumaczone i wytłumaczone przez doktora Keshe, żeby poświęcić sobie trochę jak gdyby czasu, niekoniecznie lecieć z tym, że po raz kolejne warsztaty, coś nowego, tylko po prostu stanąć na tym przez chwilę i poszukać tego gdzieś tam w swoim zrozumieniu i jak gdyby zrównać czy porównać te elementy, które są tutaj idealnie wytłumaczone przez doktora Keshe do tego, jak ja widzę osobiście względem siebie to, co możemy nazwać self-conductivity, czyli własną, jakby to po polsku ująć, żeby to miało sens frazologiczny. Jest to jak gdyby własny kondukt postępowania. I teraz to postępowanie oczywiście możemy rozbić na 3 wymiary, w których też na doktor Keshe w pewien sposób odniósł się do tego, co w chrześcijaństwie jest uważane za 3 króli, czyli myśl dobrze, rób dobrze i bądź dobry. Więc generalnie ten przekaz 3 króli został na wiele różnych sposobów przekształcony przez różne pryzmaty, powyginany, a myślę, że ci, którzy zajmują się tą technologią, doskonale wiedzą, że ten przepływ jest właśnie kreowany w ten sposób i to jest najważniejszy instrument, który powoduje ładowanie reaktora różnymi gazami. Także zapraszam i jak gdyby podkreślam ważność tego jak gdyby elementu, który tutaj właśnie widzimy na ekranie, żeby do tego wrócić. Dzięki bardzo.
No, dziękuję. Myślę, że na dzisiaj skończymy. Już mamy dosyć późno, tak więc zapraszam na kolejne spotkanie w czwartek. To były 241 warsztaty poszukiwaczy wiedzy w języku polskim z dnia niedzieli 10 marca 2019 roku. Dziękuję za przetłumaczenie tekstu. No i dobrej nocy Wam życzę. Do usłyszenia. Nadszedł czas zmiany, przejścia do prawdziwego działania wszechświata. I nadszedł czas, aby zrozumieć, że używamy stanu materii, by osiągnąć poziom zrozumienia duszy człowieka. Teraz rozumiesz, być może, dlaczego Kreator wysłał swoich posłańców w imię tego, co miałeś. To oni przynoszą uszy, aby można było ich użyć, gdy nadejdzie czas Mesjasza. Mogę nauczyć duszę i przesłanie, nie by się przeciwstawiać, ale poprzez ich zrozumienie, przez tych, którzy stali się Mesjaszami, aby dawać ze swoich dusz, aby ich elewować. Zadanie stało się łatwe. Szkoła jest tutaj i uczniowie są tutaj w oddaniu. Wtedy nie będzie żadnej walki między tym, co nazywają muzułmanami a chrześcijanami. Baranek i lew będą jeść i spać w tym samym gnieździe. Chrześcijanie i muzułmanie będą spać i modlić się w meczecie, w tym samym kościele, w imię ich dusz, nie w imię religii, które są używane do tworzenia tak wielu konfliktów, dla korzyści tych, którzy byli hiperaktywnymi dziećmi. Nadszedł czas, czas zmian jest tutaj. I jak powiedziałem, moje życzenie jest moim rozkazem. Jeśli pragniesz ujrzeć pokój, droga pokoju jest wyłożona bardzo wyraźnie. To dusza świadomości zbiorowej. Poprzez dawanie stworzy tą pozycję zmiany. Nic innego. W duszy człowieka nie ma długopisu. Jestem pewien, że po wejściu do społeczności uniwersalnej nigdy nie zobaczysz niczego zapisanego, ale równowagę pól duszy egzystencji. Staraj się być na tyle pokornym, aby nie stać się aroganckim w mocy, którą zrozumiałeś i posiadłeś. Inaczej wpadniesz w tą samą ścieżkę kościoła i meczetu. To jest to, co obiecaliśmy i to właśnie dostarczyliśmy. Musimy zrozumieć działanie duszy i musimy zrozumieć, że dusza człowieka jest gwiazdą w kosmosie wszechświata. Jeśli porównamy duszę człowieka i tak wielu nas, 7 miliardów w jednym zbiorze, Ziemia jest jak galaktyka z tak wieloma gwiazdami. Kiedy patrzymy w głąb wszechświata, widzimy galaktyki z setkami milionów gwiazd. Podobnie jest z planetą Ziemią. Niesie 7 miliardów pięknych gwiazd, które są duszą człowieka. Niesie z sobą duszę tak wielu trylionów zwierząt, roślin i wszystkiego innego. Jeśli więc patrzą ci, którzy nie widzą fizyczności Ziemi i jej zawartości, co widzą? Widzą galaktykę z wielką ilością pięknych, świecących świateł. Każda według swojej siły. Każda zgodnie ze swoją pozycją. Niemowlę ma piękną duszę, podobnie jak staruszek. Dla tych niefizycznych, którzy nie widzą fizycznego wymiaru tej planety, ale widzą siłę pola, jesteśmy gromadami gwiazd. Ludzka rasa, każda pojedyncza dusza, nikt z daleka nie widzi. To jest dusza rybaka, to jest dusza kosmologa, to jest dusza prezydenta. Wszystkie świecą bez względu na fizyczność. To jest magia. Oto, co nowa nauka musi przynieść człowiekowi. Kiedy patrzymy przez naszą duszę, widzimy tylko gwiazdy w innych duszach. I to jest przełom. To jest zrozumienie. Na tym właśnie polegają te wszystkie nauki. Dojście do dojrzałości następnego poziomu, aby zrozumieć daleki kosmos. Wszechświat jest ostrygą dla tych dusz, które służą. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy do wejścia w kosmos. Wtedy człowiek jest gotowy, aby stać się częścią uniwersalnej społeczności, która została obiecana. Nigdy nie obiecywałem wam nieba. Zawsze obiecywałem wam elewację człowieka, aby przyłączył się do rodziny. A teraz macie klucz. To wy musicie otworzyć drzwi, aby zrozumieć, że mogę elewować duszę tych ludzi lub milionów innych dusz, że fizyczne życie na tej planecie zmieni się. Wtedy jestem godny bycia częścią społeczności uniwersalnej, by być, aby służyć, aby się rozwijać, by być tam, aby być częścią, że w cyklu życia wszechświata staje się w byciu częścią, staje się częścią totalności. Kiedy człowiek osiągnie ten punkt, pojawi się nowy wymiar w sile duszy człowieka, który jest poza wyobrażeniem zrozumienia życia fizycznego. To jest brama do otwarcia nowego życia w nowym wymiarze, co jest poza wyobrażeniem tego, co mogliście nazwać nowym początkiem, nowym cyklem, gdzie ten cykl niesie ze sobą źródło stworzenia życia we wszechświecie i unikosie. To jest elewacja duszy, aby służyć. Stała się kluczem. Nie tron życia fizycznego. Czas jest odpowiedni, nadszedł czas, aby człowiek przeszedł przez ten proces.